Hi everybody, welcome to my channel. My name is Dennis. So this week's video is a continuation of previous week's video. So basically part 2. So I'm doing a build in the Dark Pro 901 from Be Quiet. I've decided to use the Dark Power Pro 13. It's a 1300 watt power supply. I'm going to show you those cables, how they're all going in the case, how they all fit in. It's a sweet power supply. It just happened to be the only one I had left. And I'm going to show you how to hook up all the rest of the case cables and the little adapter that you're going to need in order to run both of the USB 3.0s. All right. And we'll finally do some temps on the radiator, the 360 millimeter radiator that I installed in the last video. So stay tuned so you can see what that looks like and how well it works. And yeah, we'll see what else we can get to from there. So let's get started. Okay, so put all my cables that I was going to need for this build into the power supply. I secured it on the back with the 4 screws. Okay, they come with big thumb screws to fasten it in. So you just hand tighten it. You can tighten this with a screwdriver so it secures to the case, and then you're done. And then we move on to connecting all our cables. So of course we've got a 24 pin. There's 2 CPU cables because there's 2 8-pin slots, and lots of SATA because we have a lot of SATA connectors to connect, and of course a couple PCIe. Now PCIe, it's got a couple different connectors, so you don't really probably need 2, but I like to have one more than needed just for that extra thing. They'll all stick inside here. There's lots of room for your cables inside here afterward, so nothing's going to be in the way. And so now let's start connecting our cables for what we have in the case. I'm still contemplating whether I should move this or not, and I'm tempted to move this here. I just think it would look better. Actually, I think I'm going to do that. So I'm going to remove this. It's pretty simple to do. Okay. I don't use a lot of SSDs, but I will give it to whoever winds up with this case so that they can have it down the road if they should need it. And I think, like I say, the hub, so let me just show you that. So the hub here, like I say, you can remove it. It's got 3D tape. It's on there pretty good, but I think I want to move it. There we go. I think it will work better here. Let me see. Do I want the cables? Yeah, that should work fine. Just right here. So I'm just gonna. I think it actually will secure better too. I just don't think the other one was on there that good. So yeah. And then I'll tuck all my cables. I'll be able to tuck them away either here or actually maybe right inside here. So if I do this right, and I didn't. All right, I'm going to have to take it off because I want to put them all behind here. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to take all our cables, put them behind here, and that's going to take these ones so I can put them like down here or wherever to hide the cables more, and that'll make it look better. So be back in a sec. So that's a lot better. Decided to put it this way instead of that way because it was a little tight against here. And if you want to put an SSD in later, it makes it a little hard, but now you can. So we're going to start with a hub. Has to go into a SATA. So just going to take the first one I come to, and we're going to connect it. Line up your L with on there. Be careful with it. They can break. And just push it on. Done. So there our hub is connected. We have 2 more connectors for these. These are from our case. These are going to be for our USB 3.0. All right. So I believe that's what they're for on the front. So or actually, you know, one of them is going to be for the charger. I'm not really sure what the other one's for, but we have to plug them in. So we have 3 here. We're going to plug them in. So let's get our L shape. It's like this. And same thing with this one. All right, those cables are all done. So now we can tuck them away inside just to eliminate them being in the way. And that eliminates a few more cables. And so we're just going to get that in there now for starters. And we have more to connect. So we have 2 of these USB 3s. And so those are going to be probably the biggest pain in the butt, to be quite honest. So I just have to sort these. And they're going to have to go inside the case to connect to the adapter. Now, if you haven't seen the adapter before, I will show it to you here again. This is the adapter. So it has two USB 3.0s to connect to. It's going to go on your motherboard. It just connects down here, and just a solid piece. You could buy them with additional USB if you wished, but that's going to work for my purpose. PCI Express, and that'll connect these 2 connectors here. All right. If you don't do that, you won't be able to have the 4 USBs on the top of the case that are USB 3.0 active. They won't work. All right, this one's going to go to your motherboard. Okay, that's the USB-C connector, your front panel connectors, and your HD audio. So that's this one, and one here, and another adjustable RGB. All right, just things to be aware of. So I'm going to go ahead, plug all those in, and then we'll put this in so that it can be in our case. I'll show you that just so you can see how it goes in. Now, normally you have to have a driver for that, and they do include drivers. So if I need them, I'll install them. Otherwise, it should just work out of the box with the operating system when I install it. This is the one motherboard that did come with the USB that has all the drivers and everything on it. So that makes things a little more convenient. Hopefully there's nothing on it. I will put it through a virus scan just to be sure before I do that, just to be on the safe side. So I'm going to go connect all these connectors now that I've shown you where they're all going to go. The ones that are going into the motherboard, I will show you those individually, and then we'll come back. All right, so I went ahead and plugged in the CPU. There's 2 8-pins up here. I plugged them in. They will tuck nicely out of the way. You can't almost even see them. We're going to plug in a 24-pin for power, so just tucked in here. It just goes right here. So I'm not sure if this is indicative of Intel motherboards or not, but even though I have the cable in all the way, it seems like there's the smallest of gaps, which normally I don't have on any other motherboards that I've had. It's clicked in place, everything seems to be okay. I guess I'll find out when I turn it on, but I don't like the fact that there's just this little, I mean, I can't even put my, well, yeah, I can put my thumbnail in there, but I don't like that because that's not the way it's supposed to be. I mean, I can't pull it out, but yeah, let me know if you've ever encountered that. I definitely have never seen that happen before. Anyhow, CPU power is there. Our 24-pin for power is here. I'll feed this cable back out. We have to connect our 2 fan and addressable RGB, which should be down, well, fan's right here, so that's pretty easy. And up our tab, plug that in, and like I say, I'll feed those back. And addressable RGB. All right, and we'll tuck this cable out of the way as best we can. And now we got to plug in our front panel connectors, which are going to be right here, I believe. So this is JFP1, so jumper front panel 1. So the 1 cable is going to plug in there, just 1 cable. Normally you have sets of 2, but they seem to move away from that. It's about time. And you do have a lot of other connectors in the bottom. We still have to put in our adapter card. So this here, which will go right here. Pretty much the only spot it can go. So we have to take this one here out. So I will start doing that. Let's make sure I got that lined up right. Yep. Got this cable here. We have to take this out. We'll save those for another time, but we will reuse the screw. Okay, so we're just going to pop that in here and screw it back in. That's it. So we're going to bring our cables down through here and plug them in. That's the two USB 3.0s. Okay, so this is connected. I put the other 3.0 up here, so there's a spare here should I need it. I'm going to tell you, some of these cables were not, they weren't placed where it made it convenient to use them. Okay, front panel connectors going down here, it's all just one connector. The fan was easy, the addressable RGB was easy, and the HD audio. That was all very easy to do. This is a little bit tight because of this bracket. Honestly, I wish they had just left it off. All right, I just find it just more gets in the way than it does anything in terms of hiding cables or anything like that. It just, they should get rid of that. That's just my personal opinion. I managed to tuck this cable in here a little bit, coming down through here, so we can put our memory in, which I'm going to do here in a minute. And of course, then we have to put our graphics card. So, little problems along the way. Not big problems, but they're annoyances, if you will. So I'm going to show you the back here again, because now it's a mess again. So I had to move these cables, and I really don't like it. So now I'm going to have to figure out how to hook all these back in here and clean it all up so that the back cover or back panel will go on right. I'm still going to have to connect this one cable here. It's addressable RGB. And then everything will be good to go. And then I'll have to connect our cables for the graphics card. And yeah. And then we'll get to the part that you probably came here for, which was testing and temperatures. All right, that's the main thing. So even though it's fine, probably behind the scenes I'll spend probably far too long cleaning this all up because I don't like messes. And right now it's a big mess. Does it affect performance? No. Does it affect anything really? No. It's just, it affects my ability to like it. So these are loose right now, so I will be able to tuck these in. So I'll get it niced up a little bit. But these are just things I shouldn't have to think about. Okay, so I've got my Corsair Vengeance DDR5 memory, and we're going to put that in right up here in banks 2 and 4. Make sure we bring this down, and that one, and same thing on the top. Then they should go in here if I got it lined up right. I think I do. Should just push right in there. Oh, I am not liking this motherboard. There. It should not be this hard to do things, guys. They said, there. If that doesn't click in like that, it's not in. Just in case anybody's wondering. Alright. Why this is being so difficult, I don't know. There's something about this particular motherboard that, I don't know, doesn't get high marks for me. That one's in. That one's in. There. Memory is installed. Everything else is plugged in. I don't think I've missed anything now. Hopefully it's all good. I do still need to clean this up, but for now I'm not going to worry about it. Oh, still need the graphics card. And that's going to go in there. I'm just going to use a older 1080. When I build systems in the beginning, I always use slightly older graphics cards because I have to put it through a whole lot of testing. So now this is interesting. This is actually in the way. I have never ever had that happen before. Wow. Okay, so I'm going to have to take this off, because when I put the graphics card on here, and imagine if it was longer, it's not going to quite fit. Okay, that cable's in the way. So I'm going to reposition this cable, put our graphics card in, and again, I'll be back. Okay, so I managed to get this up in here. To say that this is not suiting my way of doing things is an understatement. This thing has to go. I do not like this. I don't know if I can get that off or not, but it's got to go, because that is impeding almost everything I'm doing. Okay, so you can see I did take it out. I don't feel like there's as much pull on the cables anymore. I was really worried that there was so much pushing with that bar there. It was actually going to cause damage over time. So it's gone. I don't miss it. And at least now I was able to get my graphics card in here. I'll plug in the power, and we'll finally get on to doing temperatures and testing and everything like that. So we'll be doing that in a moment. Okay, so I plugged in the graphics card and got everything else ready to go. So we'll power it up and see if everything's going to work. Okay, that's a good start. We at least have power, everything's lit up. Now we'll see if we get anything on the screen. If it boots to the BIOS, that means we should be good to go. Okay, so it does start and stop, that's normal. Just in case you haven't built a system for a while. It's perfectly normal. Okay, so I'm seeing it's recognizing the card. There we go. Alright, so 13th gen i5 13600. And it's going to go to the BIOS now. Alright, so I was asking if it's a water cooler, which of course it is. And so I've never seen that before, to be honest with you. That's new to me. So let's move the mouse over here so I'm not blocking you. So FTPM is on automatically, and running at 3.5 gigahertz. Now, what about temperatures? So up here, motherboard temperature 26 degrees. CPU core is at 25 degrees on idle. I don't know about you, but 25 degrees on idle is pretty damn good. Alright, DDR4 is at 4800, but is that XMP profile? And 1. And I probably have to reboot to get it to change. So we'll probably do that. I'm not really going into too much here, but yeah. Let's have a look here. Yep, so our two banks are occupied. DDR5, 5600 megahertz under the XMP profile 1. Alright, running, there's your 36, 36, 36, 76, 1.250 volts. Alright, so from this point on, everything is running, and now it's just a matter of installing software and doing some testing to see if the temperatures can stay where they're at. I don't imagine that they will, as once this thing gets heat soaked and runs for about 20 minutes or so, we'll see just where it gets to. So we'll be back with some more testing in a bit. Okay, so one of the tests I'd like to try is AIDA64. So I thought I'd start that here. And you can see up here, it's kind of all over the place, but then it settles at about 77 degrees. Now it's at 100% utilization. So we're just running this for a benchmark on how well it performs under 100% load. We'll come back after, I don't know, maybe 5, 10, 20 minutes, we'll see. And see what the temperatures actually get to. It's idling at about 35. That seems to be standard right now with this setup. And it's at 80 now. We'll see if it throttles or if it actually gets up to high enough degree to make any kind of difference. And we'll show you that in a little bit. Okay, so it's been 11 minutes. I got a spike of 87. I pretty much is sitting pretty much most of the time in 81. but I did have a couple spikes of 87 degrees. So temperature wise, full load, running 100%, that's not bad. So another thing I wanted to show you, this is part of AIDA64, by the way, AIDA64 Extreme. And the motherboard it's showing here at 35, 36. CPU at idle setting at 27. So 27 up to about 31, 35. That's a pretty nice range. And I wouldn't expect anything less coming from an AIO on here. And everything is running very smoothly. So you can see all that stuff that's there. And yeah, I'm pretty happy with all that. So let's see if I can do anything else here. So we'll come back when I can find another test to run. So one last thing I wanted to bring in here is showing you MSI Center, which is this motherboard's an MSI motherboard. So I thought I would show you CPU usage at 0 up to 1. It's pretty much setting it idle. But the thing is, your CPU core temperature is at 25, CPU socket temperature at 26, and the fan at only 29%. And frequency ranges, you know how it works. It goes up and down as it is doing things, some things in the background, and all your temperatures over here as well. System fan, so CPU fans running at 45, 28, 45, 45 RPM. System fans are around 2500, and yeah, system temperature 35, MOS temperature 33, PCH temperature 41, and so on and so forth. And everything is working fine. Thankfully, I'm not having any issues whatsoever, and I'm happy. All right, everybody, so that's pretty much all the testing I normally do. The only thing else I might do is check the performance of the CPU. So if you want to see that, let me know. That's just a matter of running Cinebench and getting a score. Don't find that adds a lot of value. It's nice to know maybe sometimes, but otherwise, so AIDA64 Extreme, CPU-C, and motherboard, BIOS, all those giving you the temperatures with all the different things I showed you there. It's running very good temperatures. All right, I have no complaints whatsoever. So maxed out gaming, long sessions, you're not going to have any issues with this. And this is the i5 13600KF CPU. It's a 1700 or LGA 1700 CPU. 13th gen, so it's pretty new. 14th of course is out there, but I didn't want to spend the money for it yet, and this works for me. So if it works for you and this answers all the remaining questions, shows all the different cables, all that kind of good stuff, if there's anything I missed, put it in the comments. I'll get back to you. All right, and if you're new here, think about subscribing. Hit that bell for notifications to see videos as they come up in the future. And as always, thank you for watching, and thank you for your continued support for all those that keep coming back. I truly appreciate it. Thank you very much. Have a good one. Bye-bye.